No one inside the MotoGP paddock expected the strange silence that fell over Sepang that morning. Garages sealed, curtains pulled tight, security stepping up as if something enormous was being hidden from the world. But the real shock came when one name suddenly appeared on the private test list, a rider whose arrival instantly sent ripples through every rival team. Jack Miller, on a Yamaha, testing a prototype no one was supposed to know existed. Rumors whispered that Yamaha had finally abandoned the engine philosophy that defined their entire identity for decades. But what Miller found inside that garage would rewrite everything the paddock believed about the future of MotoGP. And yet this was only the beginning. The calm Malaysian morning didn't match what was happening behind Yamaha's locked doors. Mechanics rushed in silence, engineers huddled around laptops, and technicians covered equipment with black cloths. Something enormous was unfolding, something Yamaha wasn't ready to reveal. But then Miller arrived, stepping out in the heat with a focused stare rarely seen from him. Behind the scenes, insiders claimed this was no ordinary development run. Every movement in the Yamaha garage felt urgent, almost desperate. A team once known for finesse had spent years being outgunned by Europe's V4 powerhouses. And now, at last, they stood on the edge of a radical transformation. The prototype waiting for Miller wasn't just a new engine. It was a declaration of war. Yet no one knew what his first laps would reveal. On the surface, Miller's move to Yamaha looked like a fresh chapter. But inside the paddock, it signaled something far more strategic. For over a decade, Yamaha relied on smooth inline-4 characteristics, predictable, elegant, but no longer competitive against the brutal acceleration of European V4 machines. And Miller's? He built his career tamming those monsters at Ducati and KTM. Some inside Yamaha questioned the decision. Bringing in a rider known for wild aggression into a system defined by precision was a risk. A few engineers reportedly feared his feedback would push Yamaha away from their identity entirely. But Yamaha management believed something else. If they were going to create a weapon to fight Europe, they needed a rider forged in that style. As Miller prepared for his first run, tension in the garage grew sharper. If his reactions were negative, months of work could collapse instantly. And from the moment he left pit lane, everything started to shift. Inside the Yamaha garage were 3 prototypes, each representing a drastically different future. One engine chased raw peak power, something Yamaha had lacked for years. Another focused on explosive acceleration out of slow corners. The third aimed for stability beyond 300 km/h, a problem that had haunted their inline-4 era. But the real shock. 2 entirely different crankshaft philosophies were being tested, one approaching a Big Bang concept, another whispering similarities to Ducati's fire pattern. This wasn't evolution. This was Yamaha tearing apart their identity and rebuilding from zero. The technicians worked in silence, almost ritualistic, as Miller prepared for the longest test run Yamaha had assigned in years. Even rival brands had begun asking questions. Something big was happening, and Yamaha was guarding it like a state secret. And as Miller fired up the prototype for the first time, the garage fell completely still. Miller blasted down the main straight, and engineers leaned toward their monitors. According to insiders, the first surprise came instantly. Mid-range torque, powerful, aggressive, alive in a way Yamaha hadn't produced in years. As Miller pushed lap after lap, the improvement became undeniable. The bike had punch. It finally had authority exiting corners where Yamaha once struggled. But with new power came new chaos. Entering fast corners, the prototype felt unsettled, shaking under load, unpredictable in the chicane. An issue Yamaha had never dealt with before was suddenly demanding attention. Inside the garage, frustration rose. Some technicians reportedly argued about the aerodynamic setup, while others blamed crankshaft behavior. One source insisted that the new aero package coming in the next session could stabilize everything if they got it right. Miller returned, helmet off, sweat dripping, eyes sharp. He didn't say much, but what he whispered to his crew chief made several engineers turn pale. And the paddock had no idea what he had just uncovered. Later that evening, behind closed doors, Miller spoke privately with Yamaha staff. The meeting was meant to stay internal until parts of it quietly slipped into media circles. And what Miller had said contradicted everything the MotoGP world thought it knew. He praised Yamaha's latest inline-4 characteristics, claiming its stability under braking and predictability in fast sections felt more trustworthy than some V4 machines he had raced in the past. He didn't deny the raw power of V4 engines, but he revealed something rarely acknowledged publicly. The aggressiveness of a V4 can cost riders time, especially over long race distances. He even joked, though with meaning beneath the humor, that the Yamaha prototype made him feel like he was back in his golden years. These comments detonated across the paddock. Analysts rewrote predictions. Rival engineers suddenly looked uneasy. If Yamaha had managed to blend their trademark smoothness with new V4-like torque, they might have discovered something no one expected. But Miller still hadn't revealed the most important part of the test. The next morning, tension inside the Yamaha garage was unmistakable. Two unofficial groups had formed. One side pushed Yamaha toward a fully modern V4 identity. The other believed their evolved could be the ultimate weapon if perfected. Debates grew sharper. Miscommunication surfaced between European engineers and their Japanese counterparts. Everyone knew time was running out, and Yamaha couldn't afford another lost season. Some technicians reportedly whispered that Miller's feedback was shaping the bike too much. Others believed he was exactly what Yamaha had been missing. For Miller, the strain was different. The responsibility of steering a factory's future weighed heavily. Every lap, every comment, every signal he gave shaped the next decade of Yamaha's philosophy. And then, during a crucial late afternoon run, the real turning point arrived. In blistering heat, Miller took the third prototype out for a final sequence of laps. Most expected small refinements, nothing more. But halfway through the run, the data stream spiked. Engine response sharpened. Corner stability improved. Acceleration flattened out into a controllable linear surge. According to whispers inside the team, a specific crankshaft configuration unlocked balance Yamaha had been chasing for years. The bike suddenly behaved like a hybrid, the predictability of an inline-4 with the aggression of a V4. Miller returned after the final lap, removed his helmet, and smiled. Not a polite smile. A rare, confident one, the kind he only showed when he knew he had something truly competitive beneath him. This single expression triggered speculation across the paddock. Yamaha had been lost. They had been doubted. They had been dismissed. But now the project was alive. And the final test of the day revealed something that left even senior Yamaha engineers stunned. As the sun dropped behind the Sepang grandstand, Yamaha staff packed equipment with a quiet intensity. No cheering, no celebration, just a focused, determined silence. They knew what they had. Not a finished motorcycle, but a foundation strong enough to rebuild Yamaha's future. Miller walked to the truck with a calm confidence the paddock hadn't seen from him in a long time. Social media erupted the moment leaked photos of his smile hit the internet. Fans speculated, analysts debated, rival factories grew unsettled. Because suddenly, Yamaha didn't look lost anymore. They looked dangerous. The V4 concept wasn't just a rumor. The inline-4 evolution wasn't just a backup plan. Yamaha had taken both philosophies and created something entirely new, something unpredictable. Something that could reshape MotoGP's power balance. And as the transport trucks rolled out of Sepang under the evening sky, one question echoed through every corner of the paddock. If this is only the beginning, what will Yamaha unleash next?